Props for drink photography. What's up YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. On this channel we talk about everything to do with food photography, so if that interests you, click subscribe down below. Recently I've been going through and doing quite a few prop videos, so to finish this series I've got one more, but this is also going to start my new series on drinks photography. Today's video is going to be all about best props for drinks photography. You can see the two hand in hand there. With summer coming, I live in Scotland, so we get about one day out of 10 that feels like summer. But I thought it'd be really nice to do something a bit more summery for the next few weeks. And I thought, who doesn't like cocktails? So for the next few weeks, I'm going to be doing videos all around drinks photography. So these will include some tips and some behind the scenes. Today's video though is going to be all about props for drinks photography. So if any of you want to join in with any of the next few videos, you'll get a good idea of what props I use in my drinks photography. Before I go into this list, just remember that you do not need every single one of these props. They are not necessary for every single drink photo you will shoot. Maybe go through the list with me and pick a few that you maybe want to invest in. Have a good idea of what drinks you want to be shooting, and there'll be certain props that suit your style a lot more than others. Most of these props are just a luxury to have in your prop collection, so you certainly don't need to have them all. The first prop I'm going to mention is glasses. Not the glasses on my face, the one to drink out of. This might seem really obvious, but it's really important when photographing drinks that we have the correct glassware for the certain drink you're shooting. If you go onto Google and research anything to do with cocktails, you'll soon understand that not all cocktails can be served in the same drink. If you're unsure exactly what you're going to be photographing drink-wise, I would maybe recommend something a bit more versatile, like a highball glass, or maybe like a rock glass. These are a lot more versatile. There's a lot more cocktails that can be served in these certain drinks, and they can be used for other things as well, just like juices or general day-to-day drinks that don't matter so much. If you know exactly what you want to be photographing, for example, you know you want to do martini shoot, you're going to need to get a martini glass. You can't serve a martini in a rock glass. You would probably get bombarded with hate comments on the internet. Prop number 2 on my list is cocktail shakers. So this is a fancy glass one, which means it doesn't reflect so much in a shoot, which is a really good thing to look out for. But you can get kind of matte metal ones. I am still looking for one, so if anybody does find one, let me know. I have seen them, so I know they exist. These are great to add a bit of story to your image. And also in this category, I'm going to include other things for making the actual drink, like measuring things. I can't remember what this is called. Mine's gone blank. Or maybe the sifter that you would hold over something, over some shakers. Prop number 3 is fancy bottles. For example, I have got some absolutely lovely whiskies, and they always come in really nice bottles. If you're into the more collectible whiskies and kind of expensive spirits like this, you'll find that some of the bottles they come in are absolutely amazing, and they add so much interest, uniqueness to an image. These are a great thing to add maybe to the background of a shoot if I was shooting whiskey or a whiskey cocktail. Granted, it would not be from this bottle, but the viewer doesn't need to know that. I'm not going to make a cocktail with this. Prop number 4, and that is fancy decanters. So these work in a similar way to the whiskey bottle. They're a fancy way of showing more of what's in the drink. So if I was doing a whiskey shoot and the bottle didn't look too fancy, I could have this in the back, or a whiskey cocktail shoot could have this in the back, and they just add that bit more interest. A really great thing to add if the bottle it comes in is maybe lacking a little bit more character. It's a really elegant way of showing more of the spirit that's in a drink. Number 5, and that is a serving jug or something to serve a drink out of. I have got this really fancy big server. It's absolutely massive. But these are a really great way of adding more of a sharing to the story. If you're maybe going for more of a garden party themed cocktail, you could have this in the back like it's going to get shared out. And it's really interesting, adds a great sense of sharing to the story of an image. You're not going to sit and drink this on your own. Similar to 5, but also not at all, is another type of jug, but these are smaller jugs that you would maybe pour into something to kind of add some action to the story, or add a bit of a human element in. So these could be poured into different drinks. So if you're kind of recreating the making of a cocktail and you're pouring one spirit in, a nice little jug like this can do that. Number 7, and these are wooden boards or other sorts of boards or trays that you can sit things on. For example, I've got this nice one. These would be nice to either have your drink sat on it, it kind of frames your subject or adds a bit of height into a scene. A nice woody whiskey would add a really sort of warm vibe on here. Or another way these could be used is to chop some garnish on it. So say if you were going to have some lemons served in a drink, having the lemons sliced on this board at the front. These are a really great way of adding some depth and interest to your scene, adding in those different levels in the image. Number 8. And this is decorational extras. I am adding all of these into the same group, otherwise this list would just go on forever and ever. These can include anything from funky, colourful umbrellas, there is cocktail sticks, anything you can add into the top of a drink. Or I've picked these up the other day, these funky straws. These are a great way to make your subject stand out and add something else to the story, a different level to the story. If you had these sat in the top of a drink, it's going to look quite fun, beachy, a little bit cheesy. Straws add a more kind of fun, childish, playful feel to a drink. But they can also add sort of leading lines into the drink, especially if you had like cocktail sticks sat on top. Anything. A really great addition and definitely belong on my list of favourite drink photography props. Really glad I picked these up the other day. They were definitely going to have to think of something to use these for. Prop number 9, and that is ice. Obviously this isn't going to be used for all drinks. I mean, you're not going to serve a hot chocolate with some ice on the side. I mean, you can if you want to, but I would probably not recommend it. But as this is a summer themed series, ice is definitely going to be there. Just like the glasses, it's important to know what sort of ice to serve with what drinks. You're not going to want crushed ice in a whiskey, and you're not going to want one big block of ice in a mojito. Lots of people out there use fake ice, and there's nothing wrong with that. You can find some really real looking fake ice online. But I don't know, I'm a fan of real ice. I do like it. For crushed ice, I tend to just buy bagged crushed ice, so you can get plenty of it, and I maybe bash it up a little bit more. But for the big ice cubes, I've got some really funky ice cube trays that I got from Amazon. I will leave them linked in the description below, along with anything else I can find similar that I have on Amazon. These are some of the trays I've got. I mean, they've been sat here for about 20 minutes while I've been talking, and they're still pretty solid. So these obviously are going to make really nice cubes, which would be served in something more like a whiskey or a whiskey cocktail. Really great addition. When you've got the tray, just add water, so super cheap. Number 10, definitely one of the most important, and that is garnish. Nearly every drink photograph you take should incorporate some sort of garnish. But these, like the ice and like the glasses, they need to be suitable for the drink. All drinks are served with a very particular set of garnishes or ingredients, like a martini with an olive. These are a great way of adding some interest, especially as drinks can sometimes look a little bit bland. A martini just looks like water. Add an olive in and it's suddenly a martini. They're also a great way of helping the viewer get a sense of what that image is going to taste like. If you have a drink with some crushed ice and some limes and mint next to it, you're immediately going to think mojito or something really refreshing at least. If you have something in a glass with some cinnamon and some orange next to it, that's going to give you more of a warm, woody feeling. That's going to maybe feel more like a whiskey. So adding garnishes or ingredients next to your drinks is a really great way of helping your viewer understand exactly what the drink is going to taste like, or at least feel like. Those are my 10 best props for drinks photography. Other videos in this series are going to include some tips for drinks photography and some behind the scenes on some shoots. You've seen a few of my drinks related photography props here. Let me know in the comments below which one you'd like to see in a shoot, and if I get a few people suggesting the same thing, that's what I'm going to use for a drinks video. If there's something you want to know about drinks photography, let me know and I'll add it to the series. See you in the next video, guys. Bye!